unsatisfying, what do you call it? Uh, Thumbnail taking experience with this app. It's always disgusting. Anyway, I should learn to take thumbnail pictures, but I have the late call time before work. I have a new, I guess this is a cutlery organizer that one of the neighbors gave away. I'm going to try to organize my brushes in it. I sanitized it, but I haven't done that work yet. But I wanted to come on live and just say hello before I have to get downtown to work. But I'm still trying to experiment with all the colors of E.L.F's Halo Glow liquid filter that I got. My idea is to paint a contour with the darker shade and then go between with the lighter shade and then use, I got another color of the setting powder. Never the ideal colors that I want. I'm never able to see the whole line and pick what I want. I gotta get what I can find. But I did find the medium beige shade of the Halo Glow setting powder this weekend. So let's rock out, you know, a little quick live. You know, I hope you had a great weekend. In Los Angeles, there was an event called Ciclavia this weekend, which was, you know, an event where they closed down the major streets so that people can bicycle. And that's wonderful, although it is not a plus if you're trying to drive anywhere, which it's fine because it's Sunday. But, you know, a lot of people who don't live in this area try to act like they don't understand that no one is trying to spend the weekend in traffic. Certainly I'm not. You know, people plan events. You know, no one's trying to go be social on Sunday, right? Sunday is for church. Sunday is for family dinner. Sunday is not, you know, drugs and alcohol. And, you know, again, this is the deepest shade, which is 8, rich, chocolatey. Love it. But, you know, it is a very glowy foundation. If you saw my work on TikTok, you may have seen just how glowy this foundation comes out. So attempting to get this onto the contour places. But yeah, you know, like if you're gonna drink, right, that's a Friday night, maybe even a Thursday night if you're jiggy with it, right? It's a Saturday night because you need to be able to sleep and eat and recover if that kind of thing is important to your lifestyle. But, you know, me personally, I've been trying to get in the gym and, you know, live right. I, you know, have to review the things that I'm eating and drinking. I mean, a lot of liquid calories. Love it so much, but you won't be wearing it. And that's the point. You don't want to just compromise your fitness due to awkward social situations, or, you know, if you are susceptible to those temptations. It's just not the time for it, I guess is what I'm saying. And yeah, traffic is not it. Alcohol and, you know, things that compromise your immunity is not it, right? We're trying to enhance beauty. We're trying to sculpt a small, delicate, feminine face. We're trying to get into these glow products so that we just look ethereal, right? Angelic. People can't believe how amazing we look through the power of cosmetics. And it always can look, you know, very paint by the numbers until it all gets together. So again, everyone says it, trust the process. Even if the process doesn't work out, how badly could it go? It's not going to be that bad, but you know, one eye always comes out better than the other eye. But, you know, that's why you have a makeup practice. And that's why you stay committed to, you know, reviewing and working with your collection of products. I've heard people talk about clefting the chin. I definitely do not have a chin cleft. I barely have a chin. But yeah, this is a very chocolatey, warm color. And we're not trying to like be overly we're not trying to overdo it with this product. It's, you know, it's not a luxury product. It's not the cheapest product, but it's definitely a quality product, right? But that doesn't make us want to waste it by any means, right? We want to just get a painterly sculpt on, right? The idea always being to narrow the top of the nose, right? But create structure that's going to show through our other complexion products. You can use your finger if you're in a rush, if you're trying to, just make sure it's doing what you need it to do. I don't know what else. I mean, certainly I've been overwhelmed with the news of, the new contagions roaming around in Hollywood, right? And there's been some exciting video on TikTok, and I responded to some of it. There has, I'm not sure that the monkeypox is deadly. I feel like I've heard of a deadly case in India, but not so much anywhere else. But it is disfiguring, as people who are, should I say it like this, concerned, or people who profit from how they look. It's not a small thing to have even a mosquito bite, right? Everyone at work was complaining of all the like hyperpigmentation. Even men experience when they get mosquito bites because it's an injury. The mosquito saliva goes into your skin and creates a blister and all of this, and it freaks you out because you're like, is it monkeypox? No, it's a mosquito bite. But you still have to try not to scratch it. I don't know if you can see it right here, and let it heal without, damaging your skin further, right? You got taken by surprise. The mosquito got you, didn't feed on you. They use your blood to breed again. And, you got, but that doesn't mean that you compound the issue by picking or scratching or whatever. Certainly I've done it in my youth in the Mississippi Delta. I am the mosquito's favorite, but you can't take that as an excuse to do further destruction to your skin. Similarly, right? I get it. People are annoyed. They're annoyed having to take precautions for, all of these different contagions. They would rather, I would love to believe that we can unmask and just, be free and all this, but I don't think it's true. I don't know. Comment 1 if you think that it's time to put all these restrictions aside and, act as if it's completely over. I wanted to believe it, when I've gone on sets where it was like, oh, well, if you're vaccinated, you're considered, what is the phrase? Certified, verified, and that you can be unmasked outside. And of course, unmasked outside bleeds into unmasked at crafty, at catering, and everywhere. And generally that's been okay, but not always. It hasn't always been okay. And that is very glowy. And it makes me nervous how glowy it is. But I mean, I'm that lady in Goldfinger glowy. And I like it. It looks healthy and it takes out discolorations and things on the face, but it does look curious, right? It looks curious. Maybe we need a tiny amount more just to cover this contouring, but I'm very happy. This definitely gives you halo. It definitely gives you glow. Makes you look like an angel, and I love it. So just doing half a dot more in this little dish, bang. And then from here, trying to get it on the face. Should we do blush before we powder, right? Being strategic, thinking about the products that we want to lay down, thinking about, using tools, whether that's our fingers or this flexible, soft silicone sponge, just to achieve seamlessness and make this look like dragging it onto the ear, down onto the neck. One of my colleagues was joking. He was like, well, how should I say? He's kind of, I guess what you might call a, let me not characterize it. He's someone who doesn't believe women should wear makeup. And he was joking like, oh, it's because you can tell that the makeup ends here, right? Ah, they're on to us. So we got to drag the makeup further down so it, you know, a naive person, not just a man, would be fooled perhaps into thinking that this is just how we look. So Milani Cheek Kiss in Coral. Cream blush formulation. Should we try the silicone sponge? It doesn't always pick up. Well, it seems to have picked up a bit. You know, you just have to be a little bit clever and strategic if you want your makeup, if not to look natural, right? It's like that person at work who told me that she doesn't wear makeup. Come on. Obviously, she does. But, you know, I get it that she wants to believe that she has achieved a natural look. But I don't think that the Halo Glow or any kind of glow based makeup, you know, to people who kind of work with makeup, we know what this stuff looks like. We know what it looks like when it's unpowdered. You know, we experiment with it and we get into it. But to kind of talk to me like I'm some knife, how do you pronounce that word? N-A-I-F, I think is a bit insulting. But, you know, I have to just, you have to just laugh on the inside and keep it moving. You can't really engage. You know, the same kind of delusion is like people claiming they weren't talking and they were, or they're not wearing makeup but they are. You know, some people don't take their castings as seriously as you might. So if this is a mild blush, do we need more blush? We can certainly go over it with a powder. Maybe let's put on more, because certainly what's true is like when I'm on camera and I do like a subtle, oh, I put it on, but it doesn't really show, it won't show, you know, and we don't want to do, you know, Vegas stage work amount of makeup, but we do want the makeup that we put on to show, right? Natural makeup often in law enforcement means just have it on, but don't look like you're wearing any, right? It's the way that a man would wear makeup on set, right? Certain cop shows, they religiously use MAC makeup on men, right? To create front to back of their head, just a look of health and even tone and seamlessness. And it's quite something to see it in real life, because it isn't one of those situations where you're like, where the person is wearing so little makeup that it's imperceptible. We've seen that. And, you know, it doesn't look perfected. It doesn't look beautiful, right? It's like thinking that a lot of people who work in, let's say, less clothing, right, for like Playboy and Penthouse and other things, like there's a lot of oftentimes body makeup involved, right? This is medium. This is the shade medium beige. I have to look at the shade range. I know it's not the biggest shade range in the world, but you know, if you have some other products or you fall between a lot of the basic makeup colors, I believe you can find something that you can work with. And certainly if you're using this Halo Glow, look how glowy. It's like Goldfinger, I'm telling you. You can find some things that you can underpaint with and you can incorporate with other products just to let the glow out the way you want it and where you want it. Peeling off the little sticker condom. Bang! Peel off and turn dial, it says. Right? But then you can hold up the little sticker, right? And see if it disappears into your skin. So this doesn't seem to be a terrible shade choice for me, right? Maybe it's not the exact, because you still do see the squares on my skin, but you know, we're gonna see what the haps is. So they say pour powder here for a halo glow. you could pour it, or you could close the package and tap it. This is the beloved Morphe E53 brush. What's going on with Morphe, right? I see full display shelves. I hear people talking so much smack about different palettes that have fallen into powder the T-zone, that have fallen into disrepute because of misbehavior by creators, right? But still, I don't know about you, but I'm still picking up cheap, used Jeffree Star shadow and face brushes. The face brushes more to see what they were like, and they're not exactly mind-blowing. They're cute, right? But if you can get them for like under $5 or $10, I do feel like there's something to the engineering of the brushes that is meaningful, right? More than the Jaclyn Hill Morphe brushes. And I've never tried the James Charles Morphe brushes, but the Halo Glow, I'm still aglow. It's really not mattifying. And maybe that's the point, that if you're going to work with these products that promise Halo Glow, even powdered, you are going to have to live with a certain amount of glowiness. Glowiness that, does it look youthful? Do you look glowy? Do you look sweaty? Do you look ready for camera? I feel like the camera look is more of a, whether it's powdered or blotted, it's more of a matte look, not a glowy look. And I'm really getting this powder on. I feel like it's fine in terms of color, really concentrating on the nose and the T-zone. There is a smoothing aspect, and I definitely feel like I look cute, but I don't know that this is the business in terms of taking out shine. Is this too much shine for camera? That is the question. Now, this is medium beige, right? We have to turn the little turnstile and clean up, for me, any extra product, because that's how things get all over the place and mess up your makeup atelier, your little makeup nook, right? We're using a brush. We're not using a puff. We're using, you know, I feel like we're getting good product delivery. Would it make a difference to use a puff? Let's see. Engaging in our same method, close the component, turn it, tap it. Grab a puff, right? This one's from Daiso. It's a velour puff. Is this going to deliver more of a mattifying effect? Yes, indeed. It's in the cap, right? Press that in. Some people say put it in your palm and really kind of get it all over your puff, but do you really want to mess up your hands and skin all like that? It's not like you're working on a client. You're working on you. In the field, I definitely am a puff person, right? Because I have to keep all of my makeup supplies in my purse. You know, and one considers, I don't think that's making that much of a difference. I feel like this applies fine. There is a proprietary Halo Glow puff I haven't been able to get my hands on. Maybe before I go to work, I can do that, but I quite like it. We're just gonna do a bit of social media and then get to the gym, and then we have to get to work. But are these colors a bit rich for my actual skin color? Maybe. Should we have incorporated either the light pink, ooh, or the medium shade, right? So medium shade versus medium beige. I may in fact be somewhere between the two, but we're continuing to experiment. We're going to get that puff and see what we're working with. We did forget to put on our Sea Bright putty primer, but you know, I quite like E.L.F. I plan to do a tutorial with the first, what is it? The first palette that I got. And this was back when I did not understand what I was doing with makeup at all. I just knew that my job required it. So here we are. We have this Simpsons Revolution, Makeup Revolution London Treehouse of Horror face palette. We did want to try this, so today's the day. It looks like Spooktacular face palette. It looks like bronzer, blush, and highlighter. Is this the shade range for me? I don't know, but we're gonna try it. It evokes, it's a very glowy, I don't know if you can see the relief carvings. That looks like a kind of skeleton of Lisa. And then, no, that's Maggie the baby. That's Lisa. And then that's Bart. So if we bronze, blush, and highlight. Now, we're gonna try to be careful, right? Here is an EcoTools flower detail brush, right? Not too broad. Let me compare it to the size of my thumb. All right, here's my thumb, and this is the brush. It does have some suggestion of a flower on top, but it does, this palette is very nice. It has its own little mirror. So on our very enriched skin tone that I can see is slightly darker than my own skin tone, not in a bad way, and I can see there's a lot of contour under the jaw that has remained. Not that I dislike that, but you know, again, quick and dirty makeup application, but just trying to be critical. If we were stepping onto a set, if we were trying to be on camera, something like that, an unblended jawline, with a heavier application of a less sheer foundation, sure. But sometimes you're trying not to seem like you're wearing a lot of makeup. You just want people to think, oh girl, that's just me. So just tapping this contour shade, you know, messing up Bart's little face. This seems to be a really nice contour shade, right? Now that I'm moving my face, I can see where that line coming down from the jaw should be here, right? That sometimes we're guessing, but sometimes we're just trying to create a shadow, a slimming shadow, right? And create more of a hollow, right? I've been watching people do tutorials about French girl makeup, and they're talking about creating hollows, right? Hollow with a red lip. Now, I don't know why it's French girl makeup rather than the person who I think of with a red lip is Sade, the Nigerian British singer. I might do a tutorial about that. But yeah, this is very nice, and I'm blending it out. And it does really marry into these Halo Glow products very well. I remember the first time a makeup artist did contour on me, and it was a very, very deep, dark contour, and I was I was shook. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what she was doing. But I know it made me look kind of remarkable. So, you know, employing different mirrors, right? So that we're not only getting into some symmetry, but again, we're exercising the strategy of where a lifted contour, right? This powder is reinforcing the contour that we've already laid down. We're watching our face in motion to see where the hollow would naturally rest, and it's here, right? The more you do your makeup, the more you see where you want things, what illusion you want to create, you know, and I think it's an important part of your makeup education to watch all sorts of different people of different skin tones do their makeup, because there's stuff that you can learn, right? Even from the perspective of, for a long time, products and techniques did not incorporate thinking for people of darker skin tones, especially the deepest skin tones, right? but the principles of contour, dark and light on whatever skin tone remain, right? Even just your education, like the idea that, you know, in whatever circumstance, you may be called upon to help a friend with their makeup, right? In your own sort of film or TV production, if you don't have a budget or the makeup person doesn't show up, it could be down to you. Are you ready? Do you know enough? Can you apply techniques that, you know, maybe you've practiced only on yourself to other people? Can you cancel out that double chin? Can you work on it at the gym? Can you, you know, get people on your team camera ready? Can you go HAM with your contour powder with Bart Simpson's face on it? Can you shorten that nose? Will you use the back camera next time so that you get a stronger image? Who knows? But this face is still glowy AF. And I like it. I think it's very head turning. I don't dislike this contour. I'm getting messages from Canva. I have a project that I need to complete at work this week for my side job. I'm going to do it at work, at my regular job, or my side job. But we're going to get, you know, some enhanced access to Canva to get it done. This is going to be my first sort of creative brief kind of project. And I'm excited, but, you know, I don't want to neglect my other endeavors. I don't want to neglect the idea of being bronzed and ready, right? That we can, you know, we can always enhance our appearance. Should we use the same brush or should we switch brushes for, I think, let's just back up. Simpsons Revolution, Treehouse of Horror. This is a very credible, it's not the darkest contour, but I appreciate being able to practice with a palette that definitely does a credible job. And, you know, I want to know what's in it. Since I've made the choice to get it, I want to know, you know, what am I working with? So that was brush number 1. What's the next brush we should use to buffing foundation? No, something precise, right? I'm always trying to do something precise. Sculpt and highlight. This sounds right. So right now we're getting into blush. I wish I could find an angled brush, but I don't seem to be able to find one. Maybe I've washed one. Is that possible? But yeah, as you see, my need to organize my brushes is very strong. Here is a blending brush for eyeshadow. Oh, here we go. Just as I desired. An angled face brush. I believe this is Eco Tools. It may be Kala. I'm not sure what this symbol means. Does this mean Eco Tools? Oh, it does. Look, you can see the little logo. E. So another Eco Tools brush. Angled brush, angled face brush. This is the precise thing you can use for bronzer or for blush, right? To get right around that cheekbone. So here we go with Lisa's little face. Evil Twin is the Bart skeleton face. Brains is the Lisa one. Cursed is the Maggie one. For some reason, I think I've been with Maggie on set. I can't remember why or what it was, but in any case. Set life. So, hugging the cheekbone, thinking about where our contour line is, getting that blush on, right? We already did cream blush, that coral shade from Milani. And certainly this is very pretty pink, right? I love the universality of some of the palettes I get my hands on, where I'm nicely surprised that the shades work for me as well, right? And, you know, on the go, maybe it's not your A makeup game, but you're trying to look, you know, you're trying to look like you made an effort at work. that you're not showing up barefaced. You're not showing up without jewelry on. You're not showing up not caring, right? You care. You made an effort. You showed up. You put on the pink blush. You look blushed. Whenever I get my makeup done, people really drag blush all down my face, especially on period pieces, and I'm always like perplexed. People say, leave it high on the face, right here for a lift. But inevitably, it gets dragged down my face onto the apples of the cheeks, and I never know what to think. But here I am trying it, just to get these colors on the face. Get this pink into the crease of the eyes. I got it on the forehead, on the chin, across the top of the nose, not the bottom of the nose. I know what people are doing these days, and I don't care for it. Anyway, so then we have an EcoTools Sculpt and Highlight Brush. Look at this, it's a fan. It's not the densest, but it's fairly dense, right? This is what we're working with. We're blushed, we're bronzed, we got a stronger jawline. Does it look natural? I'm not sure, but this cursed highlighter with Baby Maggie, we're getting into it. It doesn't really matter if it looks crazy, but we just want to see what this palette is giving. Oh boy, look at that. Above the brow arch, right? Above, just underneath the brow. Other side, above the brow arch, right? Turning heads, looking ethereal, right? People without highlighter on are gonna be mad. What is she doing? Why is she so glowy? Mind your business. I'm working with my makeup. Bridge in the nose. And that's the thing about glowy makeup. It makes highlighter look a little bit less stunning. Beautiful. But, you know, I've seen people walk down the street in Hollywood with a full face of highlighter. This was in the high highlighter period, and it was stunning because it looked incredible. But it looked something like this, where there's just glow, glow, and more glow, right? Whereas I feel like the look of highlighter is stronger when there's just a little bit of it, not all over. This is a very editorial look. I really do like this palette though. Do I keep the box? I don't know. I never know. Do I keep the little condom? I don't know. I never know. But I'm surprised at how good, and the highlighter reads very pink, even though it's sort of a white with a pink reflect. I think that looks cool with the pink blush. I think it looks great with the bronzer and the, you know, underpainted contour. We haven't really put on a lot of brightening concealer, but I think that's okay. I do have another palette that I've been just sitting on it for a week, a couple of weeks. It's this LA Girl Fierce and Wild palette. And again, we're just wanting to kind of taste it. We're trying to see what it is, what it's giving. Do we need to prime the lids in any way? Because we already put bronzer and different things on it. This is another palette that I find impossible to open. Can I use this pen from the resort at Pelican Hill in Newport Beach to open it? Or will I have to actually dig out my nail kit? I think I'm gonna have to dig out the nail kit. I need to keep something on my kind of makeup studio desk to open things, because it's a chronic problem. I love it because it means that it's not going to open on its own in your luggage or whatever, but in moments like this, it's wasting essential camera time. Look at this. Wow. What a beautiful color story. Browns and blues. Fierce and wild, it claims. And you have to actually peel off the little condom. And that's reassuring because it lets you know when you buy makeup at places like Marshall's, etc., sometimes you are dealing with makeup that's been picked over, right? This is an Anastasia of Beverly Hills A24 brush. Is this a eyeshadow brush? Look at this nice big mirror. Wow. You can really see my jaw contour. Look at that. Bang. Okay, so working from maybe not the lightest shade since we've got a deeper combination of products on our skin. Maybe let's go for something that's a little more pigmented. Let's work with this paler orange. Get it onto the tip of the brush, right? It's still early in the morning here, right? Map out the shape by gently tapping it just above the crease. Color payoff is beautiful. LA Girl. I feel like I only have a few LA Girl palettes, but between LA Girl, Makeup Revolution, I am never disappointed, right? The only really disappointing cosmetics I've ever invested in were Nika K cosmetics that just read very powdery on me, you know, and I kind of fretted, like, is it that I'm the wrong skin tone for that particular makeup company? Is it for paler people, or are the formulations just powdery across the board? They are very affordable, right? And for anyone who considers, you know, perhaps curating or building their own, you know, whether it's beauty store or beauty brand, you do wonder, you know, where would one target one's color story, right? Who are the people who are looking for powdery, you know, kind of talcum powder pale palettes? I'm sure they're out there because that company is still in business. I'm just not one of them. You know, I may in fact have donated those palettes. I'm pretty sure I did. I was so frustrated. I think I had 3 of them. But that orange is talking, and it is speaking very loud and clear. Let's go for one of these blues, right? Look at that incredible aqua and that incredible yellow. Let's use some very, I guess, smaller, more precise brushes. This is more of a paddle brush, but we're going to use the tip of it to get, I believe, I guess we should go for the yellow, just to see what it's looking like, just to see what it's working with, right? If we get that from the inside the crease, right, directly on the crease, like a surprise, so that when we close our eyes, and this shade would jump more if I had primed my eye with like more of a white primer, but we're just trying to see what we're working with. It does still read kind of mango yellow on my skin, right? Just because I'm so yellow orange instead of the bright yellow that it is in the palette, and that's fine. If I were wearing a dress with these tones, I would not be unhappy, right? This is not a dark color, but it is a very saturated one. Other side, I'm not saying I'm a makeup master, but if I am doing, you know, a resort look, if I am, what is the phrase? Feeling fierce and wild, then I know that this makeup palette is not going to disappoint me. I'm going to feel like I'm in the game, right? That there's going to be color payoff despite the richness of not only my skin tone, but also the makeup products that I've used tonight. Now, I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to get into, I guess, the palest warm shimmer, right? And get that on the inner part of the lid. Look at that. That's the part that's fierce, right? I like building out a stronger line on the top and then kind of keeping it more abbreviated at the bottom of the inner corner, right? Just building a shape that evokes either a butterfly wing, a moth wing. This looks incredible over that initial orange that we put down, right? But just when you turn your head and you look, now There's a lot of competing shimmer on my face, right? That's the tragedy of this morning's experiment. But we know for next time, we want to kind of chamber the shimmer, right? We want to work with a lot of matte and then use that shimmer for very targeted excitement, right? If you just have shimmer everywhere, it's like when people wear too much revealing clothing. Just one body part at a time, right? You're telling a story. You don't want to give away all the plot points, right? You want to have something in the chambers, something for people to wonder about. But, you know, if you're just really walking around naked, unless you're on the beach, it just doesn't serve as strongly as it might if you kind of held some back. Should we use the same brush and try one of these blues? We got a blue shimmer. And this is the thing. You look at your eyes strategically, right? Where could we afford to build up some depth? I think very pointedly around the outer corner. Now, I don't love the idea of shimmer outside the inner corner, but let's work with this darkest. Well, let's do the medium shade, which is a shimmer shade, but we're just going to try it at the lash line. That's giving us no payoff. Is it the brush? We see a little something. Let's put it right into the crease, right? A very precise outer V, right? But that's not going to show when our eye is open, so clearly we have to draw it above the crease. Lifting that shape out toward the tip of the brow. It's just not the moistest blue. Other shades are not this sort of dry and, dare we call it, unhelpful. It almost seems like we should wet the brush just to get more color payoff. Maybe what I didn't want to do is paint blue under and then go over it with other colors to muddy it up. I do like it being itself, but it's not the most helpful kind of color. It doesn't glide on like butter like the other shades did. And I'm really digging into the pan just to get it and get it going. But I don't hate the way it looks at all. It doesn't feel like something that you could blend a lot because then it'll muddy up the other colors. But I do like the color assortment. Is it fierce and wild? I think so. But it's also like you don't want it to overwhelm all those beautiful tones of, you know, yellow, orange, ochre, gold, etc. You want to be mindful of the eye shape. You want to be mindful of the shape that you're building. You want to think about maybe the lower lash line. Maybe you want to think about how you're going to line the eye from here. And that that absurdly glowy collection of products. I wouldn't, we're going to work with this palette again, but I don't think that I would use all these Halo Glow products together at once because it's just too much glow. The shade names in this palette, just putting the little sticker back, Fierce, Buff, Prevail, Rev, Aurora, Native, interesting, Dusk, Sahara, Desert, Sky, Arctic, Ultra, Spark, Impulse, Escape, and Raven. And it does have a black, and it also has a series of taupes and browns in it. This is a beautiful palette. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it more deeply on another occasion, but you know, we're just trying to get some things researched, right? This is research. It's too dark. It's too glowy. There's a lot of color. Do we want to line the eye? Do we want to do that before we get to the gym? Here is I want to say it's a Jeffree Star brush, but I don't know because it's not marked, and all of his brushes are marked. This purports to be some kind of eyeliner brush. I don't know where the rest of my eyeliner brushes have flown. I think, let's try this guy. It's a Calibrush. It may be the one that we used the other night. But if we get into our very cheap Elite Pro Beauty liquid liner that we got at the dollar store, right? We're just trying to get this product on and get it into that lash line without making big, crazy mistakes, right? And this is not a brush tip. I think it's a felt tip, just because it's not splaying as we're getting it onto our brush. But, you know, practicing our technique, trying to be thoughtful about where our hood ends. And building a wing back toward the lash line. Don't hate it. Going across the lash line, just hugging that lash line, right? It could be a little bit fatter at the outer corner for drama. Is there enough left on the brush for an inner corner flick? Dragging it across the top of the lash line. And then a little bit across the bottom. Not bad, not great, not bad. May not be the thinnest, best brush. I think I have some other brushes somewhere else, but let's, you know, on the go, you do the best that you can. You're just trying to do a little something so that no one looks at you in the hair and makeup department and says that something's missing. You know, I did actually get my hands on a really nice hair dryer and even a flat iron last week. So we're gonna start experimenting with the idea of hairdos, right? You don't have to use your own hair. That's what's liberating about working in Hollywood. You can, purchase hair and use that hair. Whether it's human hair, plastic hair, but you leave your own hair safe, sound, and protected. So the outer part of the brush gives you a sharper wing. You don't want to use it upside down like I did. But again, practice makes perfect. The more that you do this, the more that you will, you know, be able to just have the precision and the grandeur that you want. You don't want to look like Cleopatra. You want your wing long enough, but not too long. You want the shape to say something. And lazy person that I am, I take whatever product's left and kind of drag it into the brow. And maybe that's too much, but it's definitely something that shows. I think this brush is too broad, but you know, rather than waste the product and rather than working with waxy pencils that don't give you payoff, right? I'm trying to enhance that arch. I look like a villain. And they say a straighter brow, so you want to take your gestures and kind of drag them out to the side, giving you more brow tail. Look at the difference. Villain, regular, other side, right? They say the bottom inner part of your brow is the most important part for shaping, right? I like a high arch. Then they say drag it out to the side for more length. This is clearly too dark of a shade. Again, it's a black eyeliner. No one's going to be confused about where my brows are. They're here, present and accounted for. Did I use this brush? I think I did. I try to segregate my used brushes so that I can clean them. I did hear a dermatologist talking about, you know, try to take a break from makeup, try not to wear big, thick, heavy makeup. You know, definitely wash off your makeup, but you know, my plan is to put on this makeup and hit the gym, right? We even have more products still on our brush. Let's do what people did back in Staten Island. Line the lips in black. See how much is left here. You know, seeing what's possible. Halloween is coming. I was definitely able to get some clever products at the dollar store, you know, for that corpse bride look. For some reason, I see people drawing lines out from the corner of their mouths in a lifted way, which looks sort of clownish to me. But we're trying things, right? Upper lip. This is actually an interesting brush for lip lining because it splays. It gives you more of a diffused color. And again, this is a liquid liner. Sometimes when I have to be a perp, sometimes when you're, you know, trying to do a Halloween costume, it can be liberating to just experiment with the makeup that you have. And affordable, right? The idea of more liner on the corners, right? Leaving a lighter color in the center for that pouty sort of Cupid doll look, right? Temptation is strong to add a deeper line to the contour, to the contour, to the contour, to the contour. So if that was part of the underpainting, is that very slender gesture enough? Are we ever canceling out our chin enough, right? But just messily using this eyeliner, this would be a perfect place to use a beauty sponge to like fade this out. If we were to use remnants on the nose, right? Could we finally have a precise converging set of lines on the nose? Not in the deepest, darkest contour shade, but in a very, maybe it's going to dry down quick. And if we powder or do complexion product over it, right? Just that on the nose. What does that do? Right? Does that shorten the nose? Does that change the shape of the nose? Liberating ourselves to paint and see if it's a result that we like. Simply because we're not going anywhere. We're not, you know, sort of doing paid work. This is our own work. This is the time to experiment and just see how things look and what you can do and just how far you can go with the products that you have, the ones that you're using. You could otherwise just wash them down the drain and not have understood maybe what they can do, maybe what they can do better in terms of your contouring. I've heard people talk about, especially in the Asian makeup content space, using eyeliners and brow pencils to contour. And is this what they're talking about, right? If we put this brush aside, and certainly it has taken some of our complexion products with it, and just use our fingers to press it in, it certainly is a cool color. Would it be better if it was brown and not black? It's reading gray on our skin. But for a horror or a punk or a goth, spent much of the weekend listening to Ghost Main. I think he's a Florida rapper. Feels very punk, very metal to me, but I haven't seen a lot of biographical material. He has an interesting set of teeth, and his merch is expensive. Oh my goodness. I'm very excited about his music. I don't know, is it problematic? Is Jeffree Star a former Florida musician? Are there issues with Florida musicians? Does he have problems with other people of color? I don't know. But, you know, before I get too far into it, I want to ask the question. Ghost Main, yay or nay? But the music, I mean, from the first time I saw one of those cartoon music videos for Mercury, I was just frozen in place, just hypnotized. Now I'm looking at this looking at this makeup. Maybe we should just go over this lip liner with, I mean, this is another, oh, sparkle. We don't need a sparkle lip gloss. Maybe what we can do is get this Madison Beer gloss on our finger so we don't get black into our component, and just tap that over this black liquid liner and see what it looks like. That's looking kind of magical. We could use a pale lipstick at the center. Do we have one handy? That is the question. So many lipsticks. Here is Cherish by MAC. Too much glow. Look at this glow under my eyes. It's too much. But again, we're building an experience-based research library of what this glowy makeup can do. And we've heard people talk just practically climatically about Charlotte Tilbury. Uh-oh, look, we got the black on our lipstick. Uh-oh. I guess we should take that off on the back of our hand. Wow. It's not the end of the world, but still. It is a pale lipstick. We can add even more of a gloss. The lip lining part is fine. These little lines from the corner of my mouth, not so much. That just looks, it would be one thing if you were going for a gangster clown look, which is maybe what we ended up with. But this lipstick all together with the liner just looks gray. Looks glossy, looks gray, looks a little cadaverous. But you know, for Halloween or Ghost Main concert, maybe this would be the move. Does this make our face look narrow? Does it make our chin look stronger or less double? It's an odd combination of glow and color and gray and a nude lip with a black or gray liner. It definitely is an interesting look. Thank you for joining me for this morning's experiment. We're going to go to the gym and sweat this off, and then we have to be ready to rock on set this afternoon. But yeah, let's try this again a different day. I don't know that this is definitely not a natural look. This is not a law enforcement look. It's kind of an experimental, extremely glowy look. But you know, again, it's like we check books out of the library. All these different palettes, we wanted to know what they do, what's inside. Now it's on our finger and on our hands. But that's the beauty of makeup, so that next time we know what we're doing with these products and how to apply them in a strategic way. Thank you for joining me. Until next time on Camera Ready on House of Tanya. Bye. Here I go.